Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Grumman Pilot's YouTube channel. And today we're going to talk about the People's Choice winner from the Blue Ass Convention in 2001. There's a backstory to the real winner that you probably have never heard. We're going to tell it to you, and you might be wondering why I'm standing by a Studebaker. Well, we're going to get to that too in a moment. We would like to ask you please subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the notify to stay current with our content. Now, every year at convention, you get a ballot you can put in a ballot box, and you get to vote on the airplane you think should be the people's choice. And it's not regulated, no experts judge it or anything. It's just what the people really like. And you might be saying, okay, well, Rich Sederberg won that year, but the vote was actually for Henry R., the 1956 Studebaker Commander I'm standing beside. Now, this was my Studebaker story. This was my dad's 1948 Studebaker Commander. It was in dark olive green and it had camel leather interior. Completely paid for car. My dad loved it dearly. Now, I was a difficult pregnancy for my mom. When I was born, my mom had issues. I had health issues, and we also had all the medical bills from the hospital and all. Now, my dad did not like being in debt, so he sold his Studebaker, bought another used car, and used that money to pay our hospital bills. But every time my mom and I would fall afoul of my dad, he would not like something we said. He goes, "I can't believe I sold my car for you." And every time something wasn't right, that got hung over our head, and we didn't like it. So in 1999, my mom and I started looking on eBay, and we found the 1956 Studebaker Commander, and we bought it. And we joined the Studebaker Club so that we could give the car to my dad, and we'd never have to hear the story again of how he had to sell his car for us. So stay tuned for more of that story. So in 1999, I took some extra money I had, and I began looking on eBay, and I found this 1956 Studebaker Commander. It was in Colorado Springs, Colorado. It was all original, one owner. The owner had just passed away. His wife was selling it, and it had always been kept in a garage. It was in really good shape according to the pictures and what the people I sent by to look at it could tell me. So what we did was we jumped in my Tiger and we flew to Colorado Springs, and we actually put our eyes on the actual car. We liked it. We bought it. We had a flight instructor fly the Tiger home, and Carol and I jumped in the car, and we spent the next 2 days, because it was late in the day when we started, we drove it back to Ohio. It performed great. The car was gorgeous. Everything worked on it. The heater could be better. We'll say that for driving on a cold night. But all in all, in really good shape. So we joined the Studebaker Club. We brought it home and we washed it. And then the first thing we did was we drove it to the auto parts store and we got a pair of fuzzy dice to hang on the windshield. And then we came and we parked it in the field by the pond behind our house, and we began taking pictures of it for posterity. Now, what we were planning on doing, and we had already orchestrated all this with the parties involved, is that we were going to drive the car down to New Orleans. We were going to make sure that we arrived late in the day. We were going to park it in my garage behind a door, and then we would join my parents for breakfast in the morning over at their house, because our houses are next to each other. So that's exactly what we did. And we went over to breakfast the next morning, and we were talking about, and my dad, my dad's kind of nosy. He has to look in my garage, and he goes, "Who's got the old car in your garage? Is that your girlfriend's car?" And I went, "No, Dad, it's actually your car." So we handed him the keys to the car. My mom came in and reinforced the issue that here we were replacing the car that he had to pay for our medical bills 50-something years ago, and here it was. It was his car again, and we never wanted to hear that story again. And thankfully, we never did. So after we gave him the keys, we went out, and there's a picture of my dad, my brother John to his right, and my John's children, Laura and Johnny, standing next to my dad. But there they are next to the Studebaker under the carport that we're going to leave it in. Now, my dad and my mom drove that car every morning into town to McDonald's to have some breakfast sandwich, and during the process they would stop and get gas, and they would talk to people about the car, because people go like, "Oh, I got married in 56. Can I take a picture next to the car?" People really enjoyed the car, and my parents had a great time with that car. Then right before convention, my dad passed away suddenly. I had to go down for the funeral. I didn't get back until the night before convention started, but I did come back by driving the Studebaker. So So I had the Studebaker. We took it to the airport, and I said, I'm going to let people enjoy this car. So we parked it at the airport. We left the keys in it, and anybody who wanted to drive it could drive it around the airport. We didn't want you to take it out on the road, but people had a great time driving it around the airport, not seeing a car like that. Now, this is a fully loaded 1956 car. Now, you think, what makes a fully loaded car back in that day? It had no power steering. It had no automatic transmission. You had to shift the 3 gears on the column. You had no power brakes. But what it did have was it had automatic hill holds, so that when you stopped on a hill, it automatically locked the car, and when you started to go forward, it would release the brakes for you. They wouldn't have that feature again until into the 2000s in a Subaru. It also had automatic overdrive, so you get it up at the speed on the interstate, you take your foot off the throttle, you put it back on, and you can hear the transmission shift into overdrive. So it's a fun car to drive, and the speedometer is a little television, a little screen with a big magnifying lens, so that you can see how fast you're going when you drive it. Oh, and by the way, it only has an AM radio, which, by the way, does work, and it will work with the ignition key off, though it does tend to arc the points when you do that. So anyway, we gave the car to my dad. My dad passed away, and we brought it back to the convention, and we told everybody about my dad, because I was planning on having my mom and my dad at the Blue Ash convention so they could see a side of their son in aviation they had never seen me running the convention. But my dad passed away and didn't get to make it. So anyway, we brought the car to convention, and again, we let people have a lot of fun with it. I even took my souvenir photo right next to it. But then Ken Blackman got the keys, and Ken walked around and videoed it, and here's some video from Ken.
Okay, we got keys are in if you want to drive it.
Oh, cool.
Roscoe's
I'm getting ready to go to the board.
Studebaker here.
Let's take it out for a spin.
After a while, maybe.
How about this? Come on.
Okay, Tuesday morning, we're out here at the airport. Roscoe loaned me his Studebaker. There's Roscoe.
So as you can see, Ken finally did get to drive the Studebaker.
We're going down here and take a picture of an airplane that's been parked a while.
What exactly happened to it?
I don't know. Just hadn't, it's what hasn't happened to it. It hasn't been flown in years. 1956 Studebaker Commander. Let's see. Actually, I think I need to be.
I don't think they really want you on the runway.
Yeah, here.
You have a cheetah chasing you.
Yeah, here's right. Whoa! Power steering. This ain't got. Now there's the airplane that hadn't been flown in a few days.
Days? Yeah. They weren't kidding when they said the ground would eat you alive.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. A Studebaker could have won people's choice, but we made sure it went to an airplane. But it's a backstory most of you have never heard. We hope you found it useful and informative. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day flying your Grumman. Well, let me apologize for the lighting, because a lot of times I don't have time to go turn on a light when I want to film them playing with paper on the floor or wrestling with each other. A lot of times it happens in the wee hours of the night, and I just can't throw enough light on there. So please accept my apology and enjoy their antics and their fun. Thank you.